and gentlemen, Jahangirpuri in northwest Delhi has been the epicenter of activity for the last few days. It was the violence on Saturday when a Shobha Yatra was attacked, and yesterday it was the bulldozers in action that mowed down illegal establishments. The politics over it refuses to die down. In fact, today, Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress sent its delegations to Jahangirpuri on a mission to ascertain facts. They reached there to find out what exactly happened yesterday and why the demolition took place. It followed the visit of AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi last evening and left party's Brinda Karat. While in Jahangirpuri, they spoke of BJP's revenge politics via the bulldozer, but did not make a single word or mention on the attack that was witnessed on Hanuman Jayanti when a Shobha Yatra was ambushed in a completely unprovoked attack, as per the videos that we have shown you, viewers, over the last 3 days. Listen in to what the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party had to say as they landed in Jahangirpuri today, and the counter that came from the BJP.
अब इन नफरती कीरों का शिकार नहीं होना, अब आपस में हाथ थाम कर खड़ा होना। जहांगीरपुरी का अपना इतिहास रहा है कि हिंदू हो या मुस्लिम, हर कोई एक दूसरे के सुख और दुख में शामिल होता रहा है। जिस किसी को भी जख्म पड़ा है, आज मरहम लगाने का वक्त है और हम सब बैठकर बात करेंगे और बिल्कुल उनके साथ जो भी उचित सहयोग मदद हो सकता है वो करेंगे।
ये शर्म की बात है और कानून की धज्जियां उड़ाई जा रही हैं। ऐसा लगता ही नहीं है कि हमारे देश के अंदर कानून का राज है। मैं ये कह सकता हूं कि कोई कानून ये इजाजत नहीं देता है कि बगैर नोटिस किसी के भी आशियाने को, किसी के घर को भी गिराया जा सके।
कपिल सिब्बल, कम्युनिस्ट, आम आदमी पार्टी, इनको एक ही चश्मा है। इन्हें सिर्फ दंगाइयों का, बांग्लादेशी रोहिंग्याओं का दर्द दिख रहा है, इन्हें हिंदुओं का दर्द नहीं दिख रहा है। इन्हें जो वहां पर ये नहीं दिख रहा है कि खुद मंदिर के समिति के लोगों ने, पुजारी ने आगे आकर खुद ही मंदिर के अतिक्रमण को हटाया है, इन्हें वो दिख नहीं रहा।
It's not just the politics, it's communal threats that have begun to come out too. While opposition leaders accuse the BJP of targeting one particular community, even in the Supreme Court, similar claims were made. A cleric used this as an opportunity to threaten an entire community. An utterly vile threat coming from Tawqir Raza at a time when one would expect leaders of all communities and faiths to appeal for calm and peace. But listen in to this provocation that came in from Tawqir Raza.
अगर धृतराष्ट्र अंधे और बहरे न बने रहे होते और वो तमाम बेईमानी न देखते रहे होते तो महाभारत न हुई होती, और अगर नरेंद्र मोदी धृतराष्ट्र की भूमिका से बाहर नहीं आए तो हिंदुस्तान में भी महाभारत होने से कोई बचा नहीं सकता। और जिस दिन मुसलमान सड़कों पर आएगा उस दिन फिर किसी के कब्जे में नहीं आने वाला है, ये समझ लिया जाए। वरना फिर हिंदुस्तान को फैसला करना चाहिए कि हिंदू मुस्लिम साथ साथ रहेंगे या अलग अलग रहेंगे। अलग अलग रहेंगे तो दो सगे भाइयों में दीवारें उठाई जाती हैं। फिर हमारे लिए आप बताइए कि हम कहां जाएं।
What's even worse, ladies and gentlemen, is that this communal tinge is being given to the crackdown on a day the Supreme Court countered that very narrative. While the petitioners represented by Kapil Sibal and Dushyant Dave alleged the drive was selective and communal, the civic body called it routine and legal. In fact, the Solicitor General, arguing for the MCD in North Delhi, contended that the bulldozer raised all illegal encroachments after giving due notice and irrespective of religion. The bench asked the petitioners if Hindu shops were razed too, then can the anti-encroachment drive be called communal? An answer they did not have. Interestingly, the Supreme Court halted bulldozers for 2 weeks for now, but the politics and the attempt to give this a communal color could not be halted. And that's why the legitimate question that we are asking on the Newshour tonight, simply, who is communalizing this crackdown? That's the question and the debate. Lobby lies bulldoze. That's the hashtag and the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Gaurav Bhatia, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author Riju Datta, National Spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, Shahid Ali, Advocate and President of the United Muslims Front, Vivek Srivastava, Political Analyst, joining me live on the debate. And Vivek Srivastava, I want to ask you, political tourism, comments from Congress Party, comments from Aam Aadmi Party, comments from the left parties against the government, against the targeting of Muslims, but not one word, not one tear, not one word about the Hindu community which was targeted, not one tourism that went to Karauli to look at what happened there, not one to Khambat, not one to Khargon. Why are political parties so selective when they want to express their sympathies to anybody in this country who they feel is targeted?
There in Jahangirpuri on 17th morning, 16th evening, we had disturbances over there, and I was there yesterday. I was there today till 2 o'clock because we were waiting for the Supreme Court verdict to come. And I'm telling you, the most beautiful part of Jahangirpuri is that even today the local Hindus and the Muslims who have been living there together for 30 to 40 years are at peace with each other. They still love each other and there are no problems. The problems came because of outsiders. The problem came because a certain section came over there in the form of a procession without a permission. Instigation took place, okay, and stone pelting happened, which I do not support, but that spoiled everything. But the worst part is that
instigation by whom, Vivek Srivastava? Instigation by whom?
Instigation by the Bajrang Dal, which indoctrinated teenagers into taking swords more than 5 inches in length, which is not permissible, you know, having sticks, having other arms, including pistols, shout slogans.
Could you see?
Stand in front of the masjid,
see the swords? Could you see the swords in the other videos that we have shown, Vivek Srivastava? Back to selective thinking,
Absolutely.
selective watching, selective quoting of
selective.
Evidence. Vivek Srivastava?
I am not selective.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Because those videos have been played here on Times Now.
I appreciate what you have shown. Two wrongs cannot make a right, and let us not be selective in condemning. I condemn both.
All right, but at least mention, that the other side also was pelting stones. दो शब्द कम से कम आप दो शब्द कह तो दीजिए दूसरी तरफ के लिए. उनको तो आपने विलन बना दिया क्योंकि उन्होंने हनुमान यात्रा निकाली थी. क्यों निकालते हैं भाई इस देश में हनुमान यात्रा? वो तो अलाउड नहीं है ना. वो तो अलाउड नहीं है.
नो आई जस्ट नहीं सब अलाउड है. 17 की सुबह जितने भी मुस्लिम एल्डर्स, बुजुर्ग और सीनियर सिटीजन्स वहां पर जहांगीरपुरी में थे, सबने बोला, आई वॉज प्रेजेंट, द मीडिया वॉज प्रेजेंट, कि हमने इस संसार को मना किया था, हमने इन यंग लड़कों को मना किया था. ये लोकल गुंडा एलिमेंट्स हैं कि कुछ भी प्रोसेशन हो जाए तुमने कुछ नहीं करना. लेकिन इन्होंने हमारी नहीं सुनी. So it is not as if the Muslim community has supported these fellows. They have not.
Very nice.
I want to make.
So हमने लोकल गुंडों को बोला था, उन्होंने नहीं सुनी, पर उन्होंने मार दिया. लेकिन हम कहेंगे कि गणेश गुप्ता की दुकान गिर गई, वो भी मुसलमान है. सुमित सक्सेना की दुकान गिर गई, वो भी मुसलमान है. क्योंकि दलीलें तो यही है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में. That is exactly what is being argued in the Supreme Court. That only one religious group is being targeted. Gaurav Bhatia, the lies have been uncovered several times over, but the narrative continues to be the same. And Taqir Raza and people like him will come out and say, 10 din ki molat hai, I am threatening you, there will be a Mahabharat in this country. Respond to this narrative setting, Gaurav.
Navika, First of all, let me just apprise the viewers of what happened in the Supreme Court today. I practiced there, I was present. And I must tell the viewers, look at the hypocrisy and shamelessness of the leaders and advocates. And one of the advocates is a Congress senior leader who appeared for Rohingya, who appeared during the Ram Temple hearing saying that it should be heard after elections. And Navika, do you know what he prayed for? Like, I am surprised that a senior lawyer could say that anywhere in India, if there is a Muslim, and even if the encroachment has been done by him, it shouldn't be demolished. A blanket order is what they ask for. And, the bench is there to do justice.
No.
And they've passed an order, we must comply. But look at the absurdity of the arguments, to the extent to which they go. Second.
Nobody asked for this.
Second. When there was an argument made about one particular community being targeted, please, Navika, this is very discourteous. Did I speak in between?
Vivek Srivastava, please don't heckle people. You got your turn. You spoke. And now allow others to make their points.
Yeah,
do not disturb. I'm lowering your fader. Otherwise, we can't have a conversation. Gaurav Bhatia, the floor is yours. Vivek Srivastava, I'm lowering your fader.
Thank you. And, before the Supreme Court, what were the arguments made and how frivolous they were? First, it was said only Muslims are being targeted. The Solicitor General of India then told them about Madhya Pradesh, where the properties that have been demolished, there are 88 Hindus and 23 Muslims. It's sad that these people bring down the level of the arguments even inside the court. Second, they said no notices were given. You must have heard that. It was made clear that this demolition drive actually started in January, and this was the 5th phase of the demolition drive, and they have been given notices. And I must also add a caveat to that if there is a encroachment on public land, on a road, then no notice is required. The Delhi High Court has held that. But now let me come to the politics. Today, Navika, what we are seeing is, till the time stones were being pelted at Hindus, and whether it was Hanuman Jayanti or Ram Navami, nobody came out. Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, Samajwadi Party, AIMIM. But the moment, law was doing its job, bulldozers came out, everyone came out to shield this community. And it is not about a community, they are criminals. And today, the politics is this. There is on one side Congress, Samajwadi Party that indulge in communal and appeasement politics. On the other side is Bharatiya Janata Party that is proudly standing with the Hindus of the country, because we are also equal citizens. Now to the left spokesperson, can you name one leader who went to Karauli, Rajasthan, Jharkhand? If you can name one left leader who went there, Navika, they will not go there, because they have to only target BJP-ruled states. Their hypocrisy is writ large and they stand exposed.
Well, Riju Datta, it's the Trinamool Congress's day out tomorrow. Today, the Congress party and the Aam Aadmi Party were at it. Yesterday, Asaduddin Owaisi comes from Hyderabad, goes there. Congress and Aam Aadmi Party took more time, went there today. About kal aapki bari hai. I want to ask you, will you today stand up and ask a question about Matloob Ahmed, who's absconding now since 2nd of April for the last 19 days, not arrested so far by the Congress government in Rajasthan? Not one leader, not one political party went across to Karauli in Rajasthan to ask that question or to express their sympathies to those who were taking out a procession and were targeted, and shops and homes were burnt down. Those visuals are there for everybody to see and know. Riju Datta, I'm not saying that you should not express your feelings, your sympathies to anybody who is in pain. But what about the pain of another community? Or are you only looking at the political opportunity here for the Trinamool Congress? Because there might be some Rohingya sitting here, and that could be a narrative that can help you in West Bengal. Riju Datta,
Navika ji, first of all, I just want to say a rioter is a rioter, irrespective of caste, creed or religion. He should be put behind bars. I am not here to peddle the narrative of the BJP that is set in the country, which is the Hindu-Muslim narrative. I am not a part of that. We believe that unity is our main strength, and India, that is Bharat, and as long as the constitution is relevant, all people of all caste, creed and religion should be united and should be together. We don't silence people, we don't bulldoze people, we don't divide people based on caste, creed or religion. But there are some narratives here you have to understand. Nityanand Rai, the BJP minister, on the floor of the parliament has said from 2016 till 2020 there are 3,400 communal riots and 2.7 lakh rioting cases. So, who has failed this country? I am not talking about any religion. It is not a crime to be a Muslim in India, neither it is a crime to be a Hindu in India. If BJP is blaming some other party of Muslim appeasement, you should stop your Hindu appeasement, because that is not the way politics should be. Now, if there are 3,400 riots in 4 years, then
suddenly so much sensitivity, Riju Datta ji, suddenly so much sensitivity. Isn't yours the same party that stopped the Durga Puja processions and allowed the Muharram processions, and the High Court in Calcutta had to intervene? Dr. Anand Ranganathan, bada heart change ho gaya hai. Lectures are coming about how Sarv Dharma should live together in India. What had happened to them when Karauli happened? Did anyone go and condemn the fact that the New Year procession was targeted when 12 places in different states were targeted on Ram Navami? Was there a word that came out, or was there any delegation that went to Khargon? I'm asking you this because Riju Datta today is saying that Hindus and Muslims have equal rights. When have they ever believed this in other states? And let's not even talk about West Bengal. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. I've been waiting very patiently and listening to all the other arguments, so please give me a couple of minutes. Navika, there are essentially two issues here, and let me delve into them briefly one by one. On first, I'm afraid the Supreme Court has yet again embarrassed the officer of the court, Mr. Kapil Sibal. I don't know, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia is also an advocate of the Supreme Court. I think time has come for the legal courts to have a sporting league. For example, the number of times you are embarrassed in the highest court, you should be demoted to arguing in the lower court. And I think Mr. Sibal needs to have that fate. How many times will he be embarrassed? The issue is not Hindu-Muslim, as many Hindu properties have also been demolished. This is what the Supreme Court said. In fact, one Hindu property that was demolished was apparently sanctioned by the DDA decades ago. So people should really stop playing this victim card here. The demolition was religion agnostic, and I said this, Navika, yesterday. And I said this to a Congress spokesperson. But suddenly उनके लिए गुप्ता जो है अब वो गफूर हो गया, सक्सेना उनके लिए सलीम हो गया. ये क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे? And number two, Navika, I have said this to you and others also. Bulldozing rioters' homes, in my view, is against natural justice, but that's another argument. Because here, even if the government is saying that the properties being demolished are on encroached land, that is still illegal and against natural justice, because demolishing a home, even if illegal, has to be done after adequate notice according to the High Court, as life and livelihood are at stake. And you violate 2018 Vishwanath versus BMC High Court judgment, stipulating a minimum 15 days notice. But that's not the only judgment, Navika, just a couple of minutes. There are multiple High Court and Supreme Court judgments that stipulate a mandatory notice period before which demolition cannot take place of legal or illegal properties. Even according to Section 343 of the Delhi Municipal Corporation Act 1957, advance notice has to be given before demolition. Tellis versus BMT 1985 Supreme Court, Inderjeet Singh 2008 Supreme Court, Bal Kishan 2010 Delhi High Court, Sudama Singh 2017 Supreme Court, Ajay Makan 2019 Delhi High Court. Even street vendors operating illegally need to be given a notice according to the Delhi Street Vendors Act, notified in 2019. And I'm not even going into the fact of double standards here, of the government sitting idle and doing nothing about illegal encroachment and suddenly waking up to them. Just 10 seconds.
Well, but that fact, Anand Ranganathan, will be seen on merits by the Supreme Court. The point I'm asking you is, why do they not go to Karauli to sympathize with the Hindus who have been targeted? Why Why don't they go to Khargon?
Yes.
Why don't they go to Jharkhand?
Of course there are
Why
double
do they
standards,
go to Jahangirpuri
Allow me-
only on the day of the demolition? What about the 16th of
No,
April
that is
when
beyond
on
doubt.
Hanuman Jayanti the Hindus were targeted? Why does the Trinamool
Navika-
Congress forget to do that? Isn't that the
Navika,
moot
that is
point?
Absolutely, and that is beyond doubt. The selectivity of the opposition parties is
Navika.
demonic, diabolical. But can I please take 10 seconds to ask my good friend Gauravji one question? Gauravji said that in Madhya Pradesh, out of 100 properties demolished, 83 belong to Hindus and 20 to Muslims. Now the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh said कि जो पत्थर फेंकेगा उसके घर को हम पत्थर में convert कर देंगे. Is Mr. Gaurav Bhatia saying that 83 Hindus were pelting stones?
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, respond before I get in Shahid Ali.
Yeah. Yes. Anandji, first of all, you are very eloquent, but I would say some of the arguments should be best left to the court of the country, especially when it is the apex court. And let me just, for the benefit of the viewers, also make it clear that if there is an encroachment on public road, what does the law says? I am reading the DMC Act and there is the NDMC Act also. And this one section 322 says power to remove anything deposited or exposed for sale in contravention of this act, the commissioner may without notice cause to be removed. Section 224 of the NDMC Act, prohibition of structures or fixtures which cause obstruction in street can be removed without giving notice. The Delhi High Court also takes it forward and interprets the powers of the authorities. When you ask me about Madhya Pradesh, what is the point that we are making? In the hearing today, Anand Bhai, the Solicitor General was at great pain to tell the court that when issues of encroachment are also colored with a communal flavor and the petitioner's counsel is arguing that Muslims are being targeted, therefore he is forced to give the number. That is unfortunate, being a foot soldier of the court. And second, in Madhya Pradesh, the illegalities have been removed. It might be because of encroachment, because of lack of permission, or there could be any other reasons, and all numbers have been given. It doesn't only confine itself to stone pelting, but it clearly goes out to show that there is no discrimination on the basis of religion. And Navika, if I can get 30 seconds more, I would like to respond to
Datta wants to come in. Riju Datta, respond to Gaurav Bhatia.
30 seconds.
Why, when you say that this is going to be religious targeting that is done, why are the numbers not available? Why are the facts being misquoted in the court of law and the highest court in this country?
See, Navika, I want to say very clearly, I don't want to comment on the Supreme Court of India, but I just quoted you what Mr. Anand Rai said on the floor of the Parliament. 3,400 communal riots in last 4 years. So it is not the Hindus or the Muslims. It is the Prime Minister, the Home Minister and the BJP-ruled Sarkar that has failed the people of this country. They are high on hate and drunk on divide, and they have divided this society based on religious lines. That is what the narrative is. It is not about Hindus and Muslims anymore. That is why I quoted you a stat given on the floor of the Parliament.
Navika, allow me to
drive that they're doing, do it. Destroy the illegal encroachment of the politicians.
Navika, this I really wish
Why are you
to
not doing
respond
it? Destroy, break the political download in Uttar Pradesh. Go and break the political BJP leaders' houses in Bihar. Why are you not doing that? Law तो सबके लिए सेम है. गरीबों का ठेला तोड़ के बुलडोजर से क्या मिलेगा आपको? गरीब तो मर रहे हैं ना, हिंदू हो मुस्लिम हो, गरीब मर रहे हैं. अभी आप हिंदू मुस्लिम छोड़ के गरीबों को मार रहे हो. ऐसे ही
The question, Gaurav Bhatia, is Sainik Farms illegal, no bulldozer there, but Jahangirpuri 9 bulldozers. It's a question the public is asking.
Navika, to my friend Riju Datta. Riju, now you hear me please. Law and order is a state subject. Read the Constitution of India. Tell Mamata Banerjee also to read it. If a communal riot happens, whose responsibility is it? And I'll give you the numbers. Since Narendra Modi ji is the Prime Minister, the communal riots year after year in 2016 869, 2017 723, 2018 512, 2019 438 have come down drastically. What does it show? As Congress, state governments vanished and they reduced, the communal riots also came down. Okay, it is the responsibility of the state government. A very sizable chunk is contributed by states like West Bengal, and the crime rate has also come down. But to your, certain remarks you made.
Well, if you're saying law and order is a state subject, then in Delhi, who's responsible for law and order? Gaurav Bhatia, you're making a self-defeating argument here. But the question is, and I know Dr. Anand Ranganathan wants to come in, but I need to get in Shahid Ali in. Shahid Ali ji, I want to ask you one question only.
Please allow me.
No. You said law and order is a state subject. We are discussing Delhi.
Let me respond. So I am responding to it.
Okay, respond. Respond, Gaurav Bhatia.
Yes.
Yes, 30 seconds to you, Gaurav Bhatia.
State after state, state after state, I can give you the data that wherever there is a BJP government, Uttar Pradesh and in Delhi, because the central government has law and order responsibility, the crime rate has come down. But let me say this, Navika, I want to question, what about Rajasthan? The ideology is doing it there, because there is a non-BJP government. When it is a Congress-ruled state or West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee is there, the ideology is making these riots happen. But if it is a BJP-ruled state, then it is the responsibility of the BJP government. This is duplicity which we cannot accept. And who are the people who are promoting the rioters? The Naxalites? It is parties like the Congress, TMC, SP and AI.
Anand Ranganathan wants to come in. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
No, very quickly, just 2 points to my good friends Dr. Riju Datta and Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. On Riju Datta, I am quite astonished that he completely gives a carte blanche to Mamata Di and her state and his state, saying that there are no communal riots there. There are no, in fact, Bengal is consistently over the last 4 years one of the most violent and crime-ridden states. But because they say we speak truth to power, no, Dada, please don't disturb me. I did not disturb you. Please, thank you. How many UAPA cases have been slapped on criminals by Mamata Didi? How many sedition charges? All this data is there in NCRB. It is a pity that a scientist like Rijuda is not going into data. And very briefly, as far as Gaurav Bhai is concerned, Gaurav Bhai, you also know in Khargaon when stone pelting happened, the very next day, on that night of stone pelting, the Home Minister said, जिसने पत्थर फेंका है उसके घर को पत्थर में convert कर देंगे. Next day, all those houses were demolished. So I ask you again, 80 Hindu houses were demolished. Were those houses demolished of stone pelters? Let the Home Minister say. You can't hunt with the hounds and run with the hare.
First of all, Anand Bhai, there is... listen to me, Anand Bhai, you asked me a question. Please also take the response from me. First of all, Anand Bhai, there is no need to be apologetic. If these illegal houses or if houses of stone pelters have been brought down, it has been done as per law and the court decides the validity of it. But I was quoting what Solicitor General quoted inside the courtroom. So, for me to quote that to show there is no discrimination and for you to link it, that it is only linked to stone pelters is not correct. These are two different set of data. Without having full knowledge of, what the data relates to, I would not be able to make a statement. I have to act responsibly. But I can tell you...
Well, Shahid Ali, Mr. Shahid Ali, I want to ask you a straightforward question. And the straightforward question is that in this country, everybody has rights under the Constitution. Every community, every individual. I want to ask you, while targeting of any community is certainly not allowed under the Constitution, will the minorities also look at the facts of the case on the other side? Are Hindus not allowed to take out their procession? Are Hindus not allowed to celebrate their festivals? It's a question that this country needs to come back to terms with. In 2022, in the 21st century, we have no time to stop the development of India, to begin to start dividing India. And when people like Tawqir Raza come out and say कि 10 दिन का समय है, उसके बाद यहाँ महाभारत होने वाली है और सब संभल जाओ, do you think that is the narrative that is going to take this country forward?
अच्छा मुझे दर्द समझ में आ रहा है सब लोगों का, अच्छी तरह से समझ में आ रहा है. In Jahangirpuri, on that day, there were 3 processions in total. 2 processions passed on peacefully. Even Muslim not only cooperated, they offered water, they offered sweets, they offered everything. Why this all head pain in the 3rd procession? This is a subject matter of investigation. I will not speak on to that. These are the allegations that the flags were tried to be hosted. Now, on that mosque only, where the flags were tried to be hosted, they bulldozed not only the mosque, the part of the mosque, but also the houses of poor people. Whether they were Muslim, they were Hindu, I'm not going on into that. But the poor people's houses were bulldozed. Why so far the house of Mukesh Ambani has not been bulldozed? That is built on the Waqf land. Why in Delhi there are more than 700 colonies, illegal colonies, unauthorized colonies? The parliament in which the Honorable Prime Minister is running the government, Mr. Modi's government is in India. Now Parliament is passing an act that all constructions in Delhi up till 2015...
Dr. Anand Ranganathan is responding to you. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Then why this...
Yes. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Ali Saab, yes, with due respect to Shahid ji, please, I was listening to you patiently. 2 points. Number 1, आपने खुद नाविका ने पिछले 2 दिन से वो वीडियोस दिखाए हैं जहां पे अनप्रोवोक्ड. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. आपने वो वीडियोस देखे होंगे जो टाइम्स नाउ पे रिपीटेडली पिछले 2 दिन से चल रहे हैं, जहां पे हिंदूज बोल रहे हैं चचा मत करो, चचा पत्थर मत फेंको. दैट इज द 3rd प्रोसेशन. वहां पे मुस्लिम बच्ची कह रही है मामा आप रोजे के रमजान के टाइम पे आप पत्थरबाजी कर रहे हो. सो प्लीज, and nobody, the police commissioner has come on record and said that that was fake news being spread, that saffron flag was hoisted. So these are facts. I'm telling you that Times Now is reported. Number 2,
you have not seen brandishing pistols, shotguns. You have not seen that.
Now please don't change the goalposts. Please don't change the goalposts. Now Navika, can I please finish? It was very important point I was trying to make. Can I please finish?
No, then you should see the videos, the other videos of swords in people's hand, the fact that there were shotguns, the fact that a policeman was even hurt, the fact that 8 policemen are injured and had to be given medical attention. You should see that as well. You should see that, Mr. Shahid Ali. But Dr. Ranganathan.
Yes, no, finally on
the police, even the NSA has been invoked. Even the NSA has been invoked against them. Then what was the need to bulldoze the house of poor people? The question is this. Now you are invoking an NSA, you are...
Oh, is it either or?
Everything. I'm not against that. Whosoever is violating the law should be punished.
And Navika...
What law are you referring to? Is it Sharia law?
The houses of people.
Is it Sharia law?
No,
Gaurav. It is BJP law, sir. It is BJP law implemented by BJP only. But I should remind you on...
I don't know. Navika, you know this is...
Shahid Ali ji, Gaurav and Anand both want to come in. Anand, complete your point before I get in Gaurav Bhatia.
Yes, नाविका जी यही प्रॉब्लम है. मैं इतना सीधा साधा हूं, मैं बिल्कुल चिल्लाता नहीं, लोगों का टाइम नहीं लेता, लोग मेरा टाइम ले लेते हैं. तो प्लीज गिव मी 30 seconds. थैंक यू. शाहिद अली साहब, आपने दूसरी बात कही कि मुकेश अंबानी का हाउस डिमोलिश नहीं कर रहे, जहांगीरपुरी में कर रहे हैं, पार्लियामेंट में नहीं कर रहे, इधर कर रहे हैं. You know you are a lawyer.
1700 कॉलोनी को प्रोटेक्ट किया है.
I can't continue like this.
जो मैंने
I can't continue. आपने मुकेश अंबानी...
Shahid Ali, I'm lowering your fader because you're not allowing him to complete the sentence. 1 minute, I'm lowering your fader. Anand, please complete your sentence.
Yes, as a lawyer, you know, he must know that unequal application of law does not mean that you should violate that law. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि मैंने मर्डर किया है, आप मुझे क्यों पकड़ रहे हो, उसने मर्डर किया है, उसको तो आपने नहीं पकड़ा. You can't say this in law. Otherwise the whole system would collapse. There are millions of cases that have yet not been persecuted or prosecuted, and you can't say just because there are 300 million cases or whatever, how many 30 crore cases pending, why is my case being tried? That is bad law. Number two, I have Mr. Ali, I don't know whether he heard me or not. I am against bulldozing, legal or illegal. I don't know whether he heard me. Gauravji differs from me. I respect his disagreement. I respect it. But I have quoted 7 judgments. Supreme Court, High Court, even Delhi Vendors Act, Tellis 1985 Supreme Court, that clearly say that a notice has to be provided. Now, Mr. Ali, was he listening to me or not?
Okay. Now, may I respond?
I don't know. Bulldozer seems to have become a bad word in India. It is seen as a sign of strength for some people. On the other hand, it's become a bad word which is targeting rights of people and targeting of poor, targeting of a certain community. But today, when British Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited a plant of JCP, he actually went on to the bulldozer. Now, I don't know if there was a message in that. Gaurav Bhatia, any message in Mr. Boris Johnson going to a JCP plant and trying out a bulldozer?
Navika, let me just respond to what has been discussed so far. My dear friend Anand Bhai, you have cited 7 judgments. Being a lawyer, I have a slight advantage. I can cite 17. But the point is very simple. There is one Delhi High Court judgment and I am reading a line. The municipal authority has a right to remove encroachment from public areas, public ways, open areas meant for public use and utility without a show cause notice. I find no force in this petition. And there are many similar orders that have been passed. But I would like to respond to what the TMC was saying. TMC is a party of goons. Do you know how many times the Calcutta High Court has transferred the investigation to CBI? In the last few months, at least 3 times. And your own party people are raping women. They are murdering the citizenry of our country. And Mamta Banerjee comes out and she tries to give political patronage to these people. And to the other panelists, let me tell you, the National Security Act is the one which gives the power to the administration to invoke it. This is different from removing an illegal encroachment which could be under NDMC Act or DMC Act. So please don't mix the two. There is no prohibition that if you are acting illegally, then 2 simultaneous actions can't be taken under law, which is permissible by the acts of the country. So therefore I am saying that this selectivism, this communal flavor that is being added should stop. Stop targeting the Hindus. Hindu ki Hanuman Jayanti, Ram Navami, Hindu New Year, everything is targeted. And Sonia Gandhi doesn't come out, Mamta Banerjee doesn't come out. But when action is taken, all of them come out to say Muslims ko target kiya ja raha hai. What kind of cheap and petty politics is this?
Riju Datta is responding. Riju Datta is responding to you, Gaurav.
First of all, Navika, thank you for bringing Mr. Boris Johnson's topic. He is probably the only human being on this planet ever who has gone from Gandhiji's Charkha to Modiji's bulldozer in one day, from 1947 to 2022 in one day. And the second thing is, he is one of those, again, fortunate men where the so-called Gujarat in the Sabarmati slum has to be covered with a white cloth, or may I call it a kafan for the poor people, so that we can hide the so-called Gujarat model of the dearest Prime Minister.
अरे कफन बांटने का काम तो ममता बनर्जी कर रही हैं।
अरे गौरव जी आप सुन तो लो, आपकी टर्न में मैंने बोला।
चमड़ी उधेड़ रही थी।
ठीक है, सुन लीजिए।
अरे मैं तो NCRB डेटा बता रहा हूँ। You know, Uttar Pradesh में there has been no communal rights, 0. West Bengal has witnessed 6 of them.
Why are you getting hyper? Hear me out.
No, I'm giving you NCRB data.
I can give you 20 different data.
Please.
So the second thing is, you talked about...
No, NCRB data. There is only one NCRB data. There are 933 riot incidents in West Bengal.
Shameless Hindu appeasement. That is where cheap and petty politics comes.
अरे बीरभूम में क्या हुआ था? बीरभूम में
it sounds so
innocent citizens were burned to death. Calcutta High Court reprimanded Mamata Banerjee. Is it not true?
लोग देख रहे हैं सर, आपके धर्म
ये लीजिए, कैलकाटा हाई कोर्ट स्टाइपेंड टू मौलाना, ये देखिए कोर्ट,
वी आर बिल्डिंग
कैलकाटा हाई कोर्ट।
रीजू दत्ता जी, धर्म की राजनीति की कोई कमी नहीं, धर्म की राजनीति की बंगाल में भी कोई कमी नहीं है। और मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ, आई कम बैक टू द मूड पॉइंट ऑफ द डिबेट टुनाइट. And Riju Datta, the debate tonight is about the fact that everybody has sympathies for those people who lost their homes with the bulldozer drive yesterday. The matter is under court. The court will decide whether that was right or wrong. I'm not commenting on it. But I'm asking you another question. While you have your sympathies with those who lost their homes, why would you not express your sympathies and go to places like Karauli, go to places like Jharkhand? Why don't you go to places like Khargone? Because even here, some people were targeted. They were targeted during their festival processions. I want to ask you straightforward question. Why only talking about a narrative of Muslims being targeted in court, which is wrong as per facts, and why only sympathies with those in Jahangirpuri and complete ignoring of the facts of Karauli, where Matloob Ahmed has been absconding for 20 days now?
Whoever this Matloob Ahmed is put him behind bars and put the strictest arm of the law on him. I have got no sympathy for all those, because I will stick to my stand. A rioter, a stone pelter is a stone pelter, a rioter is a criminal, irrespective of his religion, he should be put behind bars. And when you ask me a question, I will ask you, when the worst of incidents of gang rape happened, which have got nothing to do with politics, then why BJP, why don't you ask them why they sent their fact-finding committee to do for culture politics in Bengal? Was Unnao a Muslim victim? Was Hathras a Muslim victim? So these kind of culture politics is what BJP does.
Well, hands going up again. Anand Ranganathan first and then Gaurav Bhatia. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
You know, with due respect to my good friend Rijuda, and he is a good friend and a scientist, I am astonished. He is now blaming the BJP. Navika, on your show, I remember, during that grisly Hathras incident, rape incident in UP, there was a TMC representative that was said, Rijuda said, he would be arrested if he goes to Hathras, but he will go to Hathras. And what happened last week? Didi, Rijuda, can you please quote what Didi said about the girl being pregnant or having love affair? Please quote. I may be mistaken. I want you to quote her. Please quote her. This is astonishing.
Can I answer?
Yes, please answer. Please quote Didi.
Riju Datta ji, do you remember or should I repeat it?
No, I remember. You have to also understand, a lot of people don't know that Mamata Banerjee is not only the Chief Minister of Bengal, she is also the Home Minister of Bengal. And what she said, it was a developing story. It happened one day after the police was and she has the...
All right. A developing story without investigation. She said that the girl could have been pregnant and the girl could have had a love affair. So why are we jumping to conclusion? And this was about a minor child. And she is the Home Minister. If this is not influencing an investigation, I don't know what is. And the Calcutta High Court probably agreed with that fact and shifted that case out of Calcutta, not depending on the police in Calcutta to investigate it. But the fact of the matter is, and Shahid Ali, once again I come back to the moot point. Why do you expect the BJP not to, bring in bulldozers? You're expecting that. Why do you not condemn what Tawqir Raza has said? If you're free to condemn the bulldozer, you should also condemn Tawqir Raza. Would you do that tonight?
No. I'm not in a position to make any comment onto the statement of Tawqir Raza. What you are flashing over here, I cannot say whether he has spoken so or not. If you feel that he has made something wrong statement...
I played out the soundbite. I played out the soundbite. I'll play it again for you. Shashi, my director, can you please play out what Tawqir Raza said? अब सडनली इनको समझ नहीं है, इनको पता नहीं है, इन्होंने सुना नहीं कभी. आइए सुनते हैं. शाहिद अली जी सुनिए.
If you feel that he has made any such statement where the police should take action, you should file a complaint against him. Who has stopped you from filing the complaint?
Amazing. नाविका, यही हरिद्वार
में तो कर दीजिए.
कमाल है. सिलेक्टिविटी का कमाल हो गया. मतलब
नाविका,
did you see that? Double standards open.
ये वही मिस्टर अली हैं जो कह रहे थे हरिद्वार में जो बोल रहा है उन सबको सरेआम उठा के जेल में डालो. और आज ये काजी हैं जो ऐसे प्रोवोकेटिव स्टेटमेंट दे रहे हैं. वो अलग बात है, मैं एब्सोल्यूटिस्ट हूं. I don't want anyone arrested. But look at the double standards of Mr. Shahid Ali. I'm sorry, he must apologize.
No, you should file a complaint against him if you feel that he has made a provocative statement. Will you stop you from filing the complaint?
I am not going to file a complaint, Mr. Ali. I am exposing your double standards. You want it.
I am not associated with Mr. Tawqir Raza. I am not his man.
But you are not condemning him. You are not condemning him.
Complaint against him. If he has made
why should I file a complaint? Why should I file a complaint? The question has been asked of you. The question has been asked of you.
Well, condemnation of the Hindus is free-flowing. Condemnation of the BJP government is free-flowing. Sympathies for the minority community, free-flowing. All political parties headed to Jahangirpuri. But misquoting of facts in the Supreme Court is on. That is correct as per the Constitution. If you listen to the arguments of this lobby, they went to the Supreme Court to point out that it was only targeted at the minority community. That will not be condemned. The fact that there were Hindus who were targeted in their processions, not once, not twice, but in different states on 3 different occasions, on the Hindu New Year, on Ram Navami and on Hanuman Jayanti. But nobody has gone to those places to have any sympathies with the Hindus who were targeted. The question is, different strokes for different folks. And that is what is called the politics of appeasement. I'm not saying defend anybody, whether a Hindu or a Muslim, if they were involved in carrying arms or if they were involved in throwing stones. But say the same thing for both sides. And condemn openly people who make provocative statements, whether they are clerics or whether they are people like Yati Narasimhan. With that, we leave this debate at that. Thank you very much to my guests for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Taking a short break. Much more coming up on the other side.
The Newshour